Hey soul peeps, welcome to the Garden of Deedon. I'm Dee. I'm going to talk about recycling in the garden. I mean, gardening can be expensive, and it's always good for us to use what we have already so that we can kind of help ourselves with the expenses. So I'm going to just show you some things I use, some things I reuse, and how I reuse them. And if you have some other things that you reuse, leave it in the comment. All right, stay tuned. This is another way that I recycle in my garden. I use old cardboard boxes and I shred them in my shredder. Now, I killed a shredder, but you want a shredder that shreds like bulk paper, 12, 10 sheets. And you can use this as mulch in your garden. And you can get little hands to help. All right. Good job, baby. These are another source of cardboard, but you can use them to start small seedlings in here, and then you can put them out in the garden because they're biodegradable. And then I have friends that they have their own chickens, so I save up some and I bring them to those ladies, and they use them to hold their eggs in. I had an old garbage can, you know, with the little step, and the step stopped working. I didn't throw it away. I drilled holes on the bottom and around the side, and I turned it into a kitchen composter. Well, I have a cat, and we buy her litter in 5-gallon buckets. So we took those 5-gallon buckets and we turned it into planters because you can use them for planters. And we also have our Chicago fig. It is in an icing bucket that we got from Walmart, I believe. Do you have small seedlings and they need protection? Use a milk jug with the bottom cut out to make a cloche. If you already follow my page, you know our winter sow. So these are all of my winter sown containers, which are all kinds of stuff. It is aluminum pans and upcycled bottles, vinegar bottles, juice bottles, soda bottles, strawberry and grape containers, and all these things that I went to sow. And this is another way that I recycle in my garden. So I have a few more items that I use, and I try to reuse, like I said, everything that I can. This is a vinegar bottle that I use. I just cut out the top right here and just made a round cutting, and I use it as a scoop. I'm scooping dirt or whatever. So, and I prefer the vinegar bottle because it is very sturdy and strong. So it's a good little scoop in the garden, and it's a good upcycle. And if you winter sow, or if you haven't heard about winter sowing, these containers are good. This is a grape container. It's kind of deep. What I like about them is they already have holes in them, holes on the side and holes on the bottom, so you don't have to drill holes in them. And you don't necessarily have to winter sow in these containers, but you can use them to just sow seeds, period. And, you know, it's a good upcycle of something that you can use in your garden. Wine bottles. Wine bottles, well, I have in my pollinator garden, I have my pollinator garden encircled with wine bottles. The wine bottles, I found out it helps to heat up the soil, but there's a couple of things you can use. If you have a lot of house plants and you want to water your plants, you can take all your labels off and keep your cork. And you will put your cork back into the wine bottle and puncture a hole in it with a small drill bit or a nail. And then you fill up your bottle with water and you put them in your plants. So use your wine bottles. Your soda bottles. So your soda bottles could be used for winter sowing again. And if you don't know what winter sowing is, check out my winter sowing videos. I have a winter sowing playlist where you can look through steps to start and, you know, maintain your bottles in the winter sowing. So these are already prepped, but you can use it for more than just that. You can cut them in half and flip it over, and you can make small planters out of it, or you can use it for winter sowing. I know you guys have seen these. These are food containers. So this was the sausage bowl that I had. Some people use sour cream and yogurt bowls. And what I do is when I'm finished with them, I rinse them out. And then I cut them. You can see the stuff on this side. And I use them to label plants. So these are some things that I'll be planting. And you just use a paint marker to mark whatever the seed or plant that you're growing. And you can cut them as long or short as you want. So this is another good upcycle that you can use from things that you already have in your home. When I'm propagating cuttings, a lot of times I will reuse solo cups. And I use solo cups also to make the little tags like this, if that's all you have. I prefer the containers because they're thicker, but if this is what you have, use these. And if you check out my winter sowing video, because a lot of my videos are winter sowing, I'm also using cups, the clear cups on the top and the red cups on the bottom for a winter sowing container. And also, if you are gardening, these are very good seed starting cups. So when I go to parties, or if I have a party, I will collect the cups, rinse them out, use them in the garden. Solo cups are have just multiple uses. And then when you go out to the restaurants, they give you the little to-go containers. That's what that is. So I got some cuttings in there. And then this is cottage cheese container. So I'm just using that to recycle. Now, if you don't have the space for all these things, that is completely understandable. But my goal in making this video is to just help gardeners. You know, a lot of times I've had some retirees, people with fixed incomes. They're like, I can't garden because of the expense. Well, I'm trying to show you some ways that you can reuse things that you get all the time to help you in your garden to reduce your costs. All right, here's some other containers. This is a meat tray that's been washed, and this is a mushroom container. Now you can mix soil in here if you need to mix soil. You can use this for soil blocking because I also soil block. You can check out my videos about soil blocking. You can use that for this. And also you have the mushroom containers. I use the mushroom containers a lot of times to put other plants in if I'm bottom watering, or you can grow directly in this if you need to. You can put, what I'll do is I'll do a couple of things. I'll put some corks in the bottom of here to lift it up a little bit and put some water in the bottom. And then I'll put another mushroom container with holes on it over this, and I'll plant directly in these containers. So they're food safe because they have food in it. They have a number 1, I don't know if you can see that. There's a number 1 on the triangle, so it's food safe. And I just use those in the garden or in my house sometimes, depending on what it is that you want to use. And that's how it helps me to save money. Now this, my kids got some croissants. So I took this container, nice big old container. You can see all the holes I've drilled in it. I have some flowers that I'm going to be starting. So I'm going to start some zinnias and a couple other flowers. And this is perfect to start them out in the garden for winter sowing. And like I said, if you're not winter sowing and if you're growing, if you got a good sunny window and you want to start them in here, this is good for the greenhouse effect. I can't speak to whether or not you can put them under grow lights. I don't know how it's going to sustain under the heat. But, I mean, you don't know until you try. So just make sure you drill some holes in it for drainage and for air. And you can have you a nice little planter. These right here, I received some meat in. And I'm going to put them in the garden this year, and they are going to be planters. So if you receive any meat shipments, or sometimes cakes come in these, you can use them just like any other planter. You can put some holes in them and plant away. Well, here's some old laundry baskets that got old and the handles popped off. Now, I haven't quite decided what I was going to do with them, but they will be a good strawberry planter. You can put your soil in there and put your strawberries through there and let them hang out. All right, and I use soda bottles and Gatorade bottles to suspend my sweet potatoes in so I can grow my sweet potatoes. So I hope this was a help to you of things that you can use in your garden, from everyday things that you use all the time that you can recycle. All right, click like and subscribe. Until the next video, peace out, soil peeps.